welcome back today, guys. On a Sunday, going to do another quick replay review while we have some time. Before we get into that, just a couple things to call out that we're excited about. Of course, that we hit some community goals for the Lazy Boredom CEO trip, so it'll be really fun to watch him go fight at CEO and rep Fight Rise. So make sure you tune in when that stream comes. I think that's the end of June, I believe. So, keep that open. Besides that, of course, there's a little break right now on the One Fight Stand events, so they'll be back in action here in a couple weeks. So use the time in between to get some practice and run some sets with people. Every other Tuesday, we're still running the Wake Up 3 show with Cam and Molly. So be sure to tune in for some audience participation and fun time talking about fighting games and Street Fighter in general. Which also leads into they'll be actually playing in one of the events on the next Urge to Fight, which happens next Saturday, which will be a lot of fun to watch, I think. So, a lot of stuff coming in to tune in on. But let's jump right into it here. Okay, jumping into it, reviewing a couple games by Noh20 that were posted earlier, a couple matchups I think that they were struggling against Ken and Marissa, so we'll just jump into these. Before we start, again, some things to keep in mind while we look at a replay or kind of analyzing our own game. What's the... Let me go ahead and pause this here. What's the characters that you're playing strength or weaknesses? What do you think your own, as a player, strengths and weaknesses are? What's your game plan? What adjustments are being made? What's the spacing look like during the match? Are we playing at the right distance? What is actually beating us? Like, what are we getting hit by over and over? And also just kind of keep an eye on our drive meter and special usage. That's generally what I look at, but we'll dive into some of this right now. I think this is a good start. I think Jury kind of wants to play up close and rush down Marissa a little bit, but as always, you can't get too crazy against Marissa or you'll end up eating half your life. One thing to note here, we're talking drive usage. We kind of already burned out here in about 12 seconds in. It's not the worst. We're not in the worst situation. We got plenty of life, but we want to be mindful of that. It's gonna be tough to effectively run offense at this point. Sometimes we burn out and we actually get a lot for it, and that's okay. In this case, though, we kind of started off with the crouch medium kick on block into a throw, which I think is pretty good. It sets the tone kind of early. But what I'm looking at now is we have about half our drive gauge left, so we have to be a little bit careful. And then we eat the Gladius on block, which takes a lot of drive gauge. So at this point when I'm seeing yellow, we have to be really careful. We can't be like drive rush canceling. We can't really be using a lot of gauge in general. So we come in again on the block crouch medium kick into a throw. I think in general it's good to have the option to drive rush off of a crouch medium kick block. It gets you in, which is where we want to be, and lets you continue some pressure. So the only real problem I have with this is that we weren't paying enough attention to the drive gauge, so we ended up burned out, and basically we got one throw worth of damage, which just isn't very efficient meter usage. So we got to play a little careful here. There's some nice anti-airs and lows, and actually just good offense in general. And I kind of like, I'm a fan of pressing the attack a little bit when we're burned out, because like the big problem with burnout is you can get stunned in the corner, but also it makes your opponent's buttons all more plus on block. So if we're the one pressing the action, they can't take advantage of that part. We are kind of close to the corner, so we just have to make sure we don't get side swapped and thrown into a pressure situation in the corner there. But good solid defense here. Yeah, this is like the danger zone, but it's a very good anti-air to stop the jump in and keep us out of actual danger. So we ended up not really eating that much. We don't get into too much trouble from that burnout. but we're very close to really being in trouble right here. We got our gauge back just in time, but if this happens like a second sooner, we're stunned, right? And then we're losing half our life. But as is, not bad. Good AA again. Good offense, get in and out. This is all good patience, but we have to know the fully charged Gladius is going to break DI or armor. What we can do instead there is just like a low kick. And if we low kick right, well, not quite at this point, but a little bit sooner, then we actually kill her. This is good patient defense on wake up, not pressing buttons, just kind of waiting for our turn. But we get crossed up here, and another DI. Be mindful of the life gauge. I think it was a pretty good DI if we had the life gauge to burn there, but we didn't. So just to start off here and recap, I think it was a pretty good first round. The two things to look out for are going to be the meter usage and make sure we're not throwing DIs into bad situations. So that's good. We get already pretty good pressure off of that. Drive rush cancel. They tech our throw, but that's okay. I mean, we're doing what we need to do. And our bars coming back up. Good counter DI there. We're burned out here again really early. So I don't know if Jury has something to convert meterless off of crouch medium kick, but I play very similarly with Cammy and often do those crouch medium kicks and drive rush. We just have to know when we're at full gauge it's okay to do on block, but when we're down around half or less, we have to be a little bit more careful and not just drive rush without confirming the hit or having more gauge. But that's a good response. SA3 as an anti-air. Fun to see this. See, that was good right there. That's already the adjustment. If you're in this range and you see Marissa charging Gladius, until she shows that it's going to be like the quick charge release one, throw out that low. Medium kick if you're close. Like, I don't think it'll quite reach here, but crouching light kick is really good in these situations to call out these Gladius. All pretty standard there. Got a little bit impatient twice in a row and ate some damage for it. Now we're in the corner. But we escaped pretty well. And it's good DI into the stun, which should kill here. So it was a pretty good round. The similar mistake is just that burning out. We have to be a little bit more mindful of the drive gauge. So we'll see if if we fix that in round 3. This is all pretty good defense, but the one thing to be mindful of is just walking back into the corner. You're being patient, so that's good. It's hard to get out there, but around maybe here we got to eat this and block, right? This is where I'm looking to make a move, so I don't know with Jury really. You might be able to backdash to create some space, which puts us further in the corner, but gives us some room where we're not going to get pushed back. The problem here is if she pushes us back and block stun, she can cancel one of the block buttons into a DI and wall splat us, which lets her use her super. Tough situation, honestly. I think you played it well by being patient. You certainly could have played it worse, but we just have to be careful at this point. Just kind of waiting there. Yeah, I don't know if that was on react or what, but she caught us. That's okay. That's pretty good there. I don't know if you gain much from using a level 1 there when you could do like a DP, OD DP, and save the super bar. At the end of the day, it's splitting hairs. Like, if this were going to burn her out, I would like it more. I guess you get the corner carry and probably some decent Oki off this, so it might actually be a pretty good move. I don't know enough about Jury to really make that call, but something to consider. It was a good reaction by them to get the armor. Pretty good DI attempt. Good pressure, but we got a little too greedy with that DI and ended up running into a Gladius. I think all in all, not too many notes. We didn't burn out in that third round, so you made that adjustment pretty well. It's just kind of the DIs were a little wild against Marissa that can Gladius him in response and break the armor. But positionally, I think that was played pretty well. I think the overall game plan was pretty good. We just really got caught with those DIs and burnout, and that's what cost us that one. We'll jump into a kin match here next. So they do a very kin thing of the opening Dragon Lash. I wonder if we parry in response, and there's a good reason to do that, but it's also kind of risky because oftentimes the follow-up to that, the Dragon Lash, is going to be either jabs or a walk-up throw. So I think if we're fishing for like a perfect parry, that's okay, but I don't know if this is the first match of the set or if there's some history already or what, but without a read, I think it's better just to block here. Mostly because if they walk up throw, then we're eating drive damage and 20% of our health. So that might have also just been a bit of a late perfect parry attempt on the Dragon Lash itself. King gets his offense going. So we're gonna wake up Tech here. So Kin is pretty scared with the throw loop and strike throw mix up overall. I will say, and we'll see if this is a pattern or not, but I would be careful doing these just a regular wake up Tech, especially positionally here in neutral. If we're cornered, sometimes we have to make that read. But the problem is he can jump us, and at this point, instead of eating like 1,000 damage throw, we're probably going to take more like 25-30% of our life and end up in the corner. Something else to consider if you haven't already is delay tech stuff. Let me make a note of that. We'll talk about that at the end, but it's going to be a little bit more safe than just kind of a raw wake up throw tech. It might help you a lot. He doesn't land the combo though, so it doesn't cost us too much. Kin's doing a lot of crouch medium kicks so far, which this is pretty common for Kins of all levels, really. There's some specific adjustments that we'll want to look at. It's okay to get into this like crouch medium kick response, but I think there's probably some better options that we'll talk about a little bit later. That's good. Probably looking to tech that since he drive rushed in earlier and through, so we end up getting a back throw off it, which is a bonus. A nice, good anti-air again. Very good anti-airs, I think, from these two matches so far. This is just Kin things. Maybe mistime anti-air. I don't know there. I see what you're going for, I think. Not a big mistake, but I'd be careful. Oh, that's nice. I'd be careful with the wake up buttons against Kin. I like the air throw as a response there. It's a little greedy. Something to consider too. This is going to catch a lot of people, but it'll stop working pretty soon if it hasn't already. again, when I see this, if I'm kin and I see this type of health, I'm expecting you to reversal in some way or another more often than not in this situation. So if he has a little bit more game sense, he probably shimmies or plays that one kind of slow and lets you whiff on that and then just kills you. But really doing a good job keeping kin out of the air, and a good DI there to close out the round. That's good. We didn't burn out in that round. We're thinking about things like spacing. I think we're playing pretty well. We're not just giving up space, or this is the range really that we want to be a little bit closer in this right now. But he's a psycho who's just going to keep trying to get right in on you. So that's pretty good. I think so far our game plan's been pretty solid. It's like kind of your base against the Shoto archetype one. Our drive usage was pretty good in that round. We burned the one super meter as a reversal, which I don't think is optimal, but also isn't like a mistake. I think that you might be able to get away with just EXDP though. Again, I'm not sure. Again, it might be a character specific thing where you can get him in the corner. If you're using it for corner carry or something like that, then that totally makes sense. So we go for that parry again. Something to think about is he hasn't really showed us that he's going to Dragon Lash jab. So we're making a read, but we don't have any evidence to make that read yet. A lot of kins will actually go for that Dragon Lash jab. So it makes sense to try that, but I would treat... It's hard. So you can kind of treat every kin the same way because a lot of them will play the same way. But it's a good habit to kind of treat each player as if you're playing them from scratch. So for reads like that, wait till they show you that they're going to present that option before you start trying to call it out. But solid defense all around. We lose the air to air. That's okay. Good anti-air. Good anti-air. I think the DI here, it's a little too close. You're a little too, like, there's not quite the right distance to be able to do this, because more often than not, he could throw you out of that too, which he does. Not a bad try. It's just, I think that's a little bit of impatience going on. But we're cornered now. He's in the crouch medium kick. That was all played well. Guy out of the corner got some damage. Shimmied the throw. This is a tough concept for me too, but something that might help. Okay, so we're making the decision to shimmy like right now. Good decision. He whiffs his throw. If we know we're going to shimmy, we have to be looking for this, and we're like, the only thing on our mental stack right now is we're not paying attention to walking backwards because we know we're doing that. So as soon as we see that arm come out, we're going to hit our button to counter hit him. And if you actively think about it that way, like in this situation, right, we're shimmying and a couple things beats a shimmy. If he crouch medium kicks you, right, it's going to beat you, right? But that's really the only thing you have to be afraid of. And even that, if he does it, we've already made our decision. He's made his decision. He's going to win. So you don't have to worry about him doing much else. I mean, I guess he could like jump or neutral jump or something. You have to be ready to AA, but you can narrow down your mental stack to like the AA or the throw. And so if you see his feet leave the ground, you can try to AA, or if you see the throw animation come out, you want to be ready to respond. And that's the only things you have to think of. Don't be thinking about anything else. And if you simplify it like that, you'll end up converting on these a lot more. Good offense. This guy loves DI. Yeah, I think this was all good. Good bit of a scramble. This is all good, but one thing to start working on. This will take a lot of time, but we'll have to let's together. We'll all pay attention to this and watch. But notice how after this, notice how we're always walking forward, which is better than always walking backward. But really, something to keep in mind when you always walk forward is people are going to start being able to clip you when you come in. With crouch medium kick a lot, and for Kin, like his stand heavy punch and stand heavy kick. So rather than walk right up to him, you kind of want to walk forward, stop, walk forward, walk back, stop, walk forward, stop, and kind of like edge your way in, because you'll see him start pressing buttons, and as you're stopping, then you're like we talked about earlier, the mental stack on the shimmy. When you choose to stop walking, you can 100% just focus and see if he's pressing a button and be ready to whiff punish, and it'll open up a lot of opportunities for you. As you try to work that into your gameplay at first, it'll probably feel bad and make you lose games that you would usually win until you get used to it. But once you kind of get that like start, stop, forward, back motion in neutral, you'll get a lot more opportunities to actually go on the offense. But otherwise good. We dropped the combo there, otherwise we win. Okay, and so we do that wake up tech, throw tech again, right? So that's twice, I think. And this time he converts, and this could be a lot of damage. He's burned out, so he won't be able to kill, but he should be able to get like this much damage off. He actually could have killed us there if he was ready. He can cancel that. So keep an eye on these throw attacks. We'll talk about that a little bit more later though. Okay, that's 3 right there and we're dead. 2 things to note for that round. If we're not wake up teching and we probably win. Also, obviously, if we don't drop the combo, but you always drop combos, so it'll happen sometimes, right? So that's something to work on, but not a huge deal. But we're in round 3 now. It's good. You're doing pretty good on his wake up, these Oki situations. Varying stuff, so you're doing strikes and throws, and he's not quite sure how to handle it, so that's a good job. That's goofy by him, but alright, so we wake up tech again. This is number 4. And this is gonna hurt, right? So we just lost half our health on that one too. Yeah, I don't really fault you for that one. I mean, sometimes you're gonna try for something and they're gonna jump. That's okay. I don't think that's a huge deal. But like the story to me of this match is 100% that we're doing the wake up tech stuff, and it's gonna lose a lot. Especially we need to identify that he's neutral jumping a lot there, which is gonna beat that. So we're taking risks that we don't have to, with like a big downside and very little upside. And I'll pop into training mode at the end of this to show you some stuff for that really quick. But a habit to break, like, it's okay to eat a couple throws. It's better to take a couple throws. Even if you take 2 or 3 in a row just to start the match, that's still going to be less damage than guessing wrong and eating that jump into combo, right? So taking throws doesn't feel good, but it's usually better than the alternative. Now, if we're stuck in the corner where we can't get out, it's a little bit of a different story, where sometimes we have to tech that throw and eventually and make an escape. But when you're in that the middle 75-80% of the stage, you can back rise, so they can't throw loop you very easy. That's a big takeaway from this match for me. Would be on defense you play very well, except for the wake up throw tech stuff. Which is a habit to break a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end, but we'll jump into the other kin match real quick. Yeah, I think you talked about had this as a note of kind of the round start dive kick. It's not like people do stuff like that or round start drive rush and other things like that, and it's not really um, it's not objectively a bad thing to do, but um, I find for myself anyway, if you start slow, you can get better info to figure out what you want to do against your opponent. Like that's just a raw guess. That's gonna catch a lot of people, but you really don't know. This might be a guy that's just gonna sit and block at round start, and if so, he's already gonna take away a third of your life. So you can use this first 10 to 20, 30 seconds to just play slow, and instead of trying to like beat him as fast as possible, you just want to identify like what he's doing. So as we watch this replay, let's just try to figure out what his tendencies are. Good whiff punish. Good offense again. He wakes up. This is interesting, right? Okay, we knock him down. We go for the throw, and he is going to guess to parry, which is not, like, to me is a weird choice, because so far all you've really shown is that you're going to throw him on wake up, and throw beats parry. So we're paying attention to this, right? That's how he responded to this wake up after being thrown. So we can use that information in the future, and we'll see if like he makes a pattern out of doing this. And if he does, then we want to throw him more. And that's like an adjustment we can make to kind of counteract his default preference. A good perfect parry there. Good punish. Okay, he takes the throw there. This is good. So you're like, I like this a lot. Okay, we get reset to neutral. With Jury, we probably want to be playing a little bit closer, but you're not backing off, and you're also not over committing. You're kind of taking your time. Like here, this is what I think we were talking about a little bit in the last replay of walk forward and sit, walk forward and sit. That's great. Like, do that. That's that's a great habit to get into. You can kind of see what he wants to do and come up with a game plan. And right now, like at this distance, you don't have to be worried about much. He could drive rush in which case you could check it with a button. He can do some silly stuff like Dragon Lash or whatever kind of, or jump in, which you can AA. So he's got some gimmicks, but all in all, we can mostly relax and just see what he wants to do. And you can use just this time to do that, and that's kind of how you start developing reads on opponents. It's not about just knowing what they're going to do. It's these moments here where you're relatively safe, that you can kind of look at him and see what he's doing and pay a lot of attention to him, which will help you, figure out how you want to play against this player, not just Ken, not just nameless Ken, but this specific player. This is very good. Back up. I don't find any fault with that. I think we could be a little bit more aggressive. Like, again, like if you're in master, you probably want to walk up right to about here-ish, right? And sit, because we'll still be safe. You'll be a little bit more threatening. So that's something you can work on, but that's like it's a detail, not necessarily something that you should be doing without having worked on it yet. That's good. Go for the jump. We capitalize on his Misty Eye. We're jumping it a little bit. I think he showed us so far 3 times that he's AA'd us on jump in. So at this point, you got to make a mental note that he's pretty good at AAing, and we don't want to jump too much. Now we're in the corner and guessing, but this is good patience by you. I like the parry on the Jinrai too. Good air to air. That's good. This is so good. Like, this is really good, right? Okay, you're patient here in the corner. It's his turn. Okay, you force him back off, and you immediately take space. That's 100% what you should be doing. That's so good. And you keep taking space. Like, this is look at all this room he just gave you for free. You're all the way in the corner. He's got you dead to rights. This 100%, he should beat you here. You should not make it out of this corner. But you're patient on defense. And now he backs off, and he gives you how much? How much space does he give you? That's a quarter of the stage. He gives you a quarter of the stage for free, and you took it. So that's kudos to you. That's good game awareness. This guy really likes the crouch medium kick, as most Kins do. Yeah, there we go again on so this is the first one I think so far of we're gonna wake up Tech, and I don't really blame you because he just threw you, right? So we got that on our mind. But this is where delay Tech comes in. We'll look at that at the end. Jinrai eventually gets us. I think overall pretty good round for us. This is the round start thing again. You're going for the dive kick 2 rounds in a row. So the first one, you know, we made a choice and we live with it, but we don't want to do this twice. I don't know that he actually is a thinking player and is reading that you're going to do it, but here's the case. If you just chill here at round start and he's jumping, like if you're just sitting here on round start, you only have to look out for 2 things: drive rush, well 3 things really, but drive rush and or dragon lash, right, which you can respond to with a button, or parry, or jump in, which you can AA. So if we make the decision to just chill and see what he wants to do, like he's making a blind guess of jumping and we just have to react. But by kind of doing our dive kick again, we kind of give up that option, and now it's just 2 people guessing, and he's going to get the best of us here. It's pretty good. I like these parry attempts. They're pretty good spots. We don't get the perfect parry, but that's okay. It's overall a good choice. If he starts throwing us, we need to back away from it, but he hasn't yet, right? So we're okay. Another jump in. I think that's pretty good. Again, I think you can just OD DP there, and it's probably a better option, just because this is a resource, and a wake up OD DP takes 3 bars, I think, 2 bars, 3 bars, whatever, but you'll get that back faster than you get a whole super bar back. It'd be different, I think, if our positions were swapped. Like if you were on the right side here, then if you do this super, he's in the corner, and at that point it's worth burning bar on. But as it is, I think it's better probably just to OD DP. Drive rush, yeah, tough. Where do you do that from? Good AA again, by the way. Yeah, it's pretty close. That's a tough one to react to. Another jump. I think we're defaulting to that a little bit too much. Eating a couple DPs isn't the end of the world, but he's shown he's pretty consistent with AAs, so we probably want to figure out a different way forward. And it's kin corner pressure. You're playing it pretty well, but here's another jump, right? And he's like 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 of the last 6 jump ins. So we all do it, but something to be aware of is try to keep that like mental counter. And if you are in a match and you just realize like, okay, he's AA'd me 3 times in a row, you have to kind of consciously stop jumping. He beats us. I don't think that was... He beat us, but there wasn't a whole lot of like bad mistakes there. He forced us into the corner a lot, but it was pretty much earned. It wasn't something that we just walked into, and then he forced us into guesses. And you're going to guess wrong sometimes and right sometimes. So not really too big of a deal, I don't think, there. But let's look at a couple things really quick. There's a lot of... those kins were doing a lot of crouch medium kicks. And I think the way you're playing it's not bad. You certainly could play it worse. But if you notice that he's doing a lot of... that an opponent is doing a lot of crouch medium kicks, a lot of characters have some tools for it. So let's see. Okay, so a couple things you can look at. I guess her jab's a little not there, but try something like this. Oops. Try something like this. If you see your opponent doing a lot, it'll hop right over it, right? Anyway, I mean, it's a read, so it's not something you can just throw out there, but if you notice your opponent, like, is solely kind of really doing that crouch medium kick, this will hop over. We'll get above it. I'm doing it late, right? But practice the timing a little bit. Something to think about there. That's not gonna like turn your game completely around, but it's a good tool to have because a lot of people really rely on that crouch medium kick. And so if you have an option like that, you can also probably do something like this. If you kind of see they're doing a lot, just the quick dive kick. Let me stop him from jumping and see if we can actually react to this. I mean, I'm cheating a little bit because I know it's coming out, but like when you see someone likes the crouch medium kick, those would be my two like responses. Is I would start going to about the range he likes to throw it and dive kick. Or this walk up and walk up and do that. You'll be surprised, especially if people are really consistent about throwing that out there right as you get in range. You just kind of walk up to that range and do that dive kick, or walk up and do that little hop. The other quick thing is you can actually do this here in, if you just go to training mode and do this throw escape thing. So it's something called delay tech, right? Instead of, if you look at my inputs, if you look at my inputs, he's going to sweep. Oh, we're supposed to fall down. I'm sorry. Right, okay. So I'm holding block, and there's this timing of, you want to press the button like right as the strike would come out. And if you do that, if you time it right, you'll always tech if the throw comes, and it won't come out if you're blocking. So when we're doing that wake up, tech, like at least, and maybe you were, I didn't really look at the input, but make sure you have that down, because it looked like you were kind of, you know, teching like this, where it's like right away this beats a throw, but when he punches me, it's going to come out. Oh, come on now. Yeah, so like, if you press it right away, you're going to get caught by the buttons, right? Or the jumps. But if you kind of delay tech it, I messed it up. But if you work on this delay tech, which they have a built-in thing for this throw escape practice, it helps a little bit with that. It's better than the raw wake up tech. But I would still, if you're over here and you get knocked down, you can just back rise like that by hitting two buttons if he throws you, and it kind of gets rid of that throw loop. Right here, right? So I messed up the input, but point being, like, then you only take one throw, and that's better than eating a combo, and you're not really getting throw loop. So I think that's a better option in general. So anyway, to recap now, I think the takeaways, Marissa specific, careful to DIs, especially when I'm throwing out those Gladiuses, because they'll break your armor. You got 8 alive by waking up, throw teching, especially in the middle of the stage. So I think at that point it's better to just block and take a throw or two. And if you are going to throw tech, make sure it's that delay throw tech stuff there. I think those were really the big ones I saw. Otherwise, and don't burn out. Just be careful. You were better about that in 2 of the replays, just not the that first one was kind of rough on burnout stuff. So, but otherwise, I think doing pretty well. Just keep it up. I think you win against that first kin if we're a little bit cleaner on the throw tech stuff. So, yeah, I think that's all I got.